your parent or the person that you want to work on their brand is already doing great things, you don't have to create anything new. It's simply leveraging and amplifying what they're already doing.
So Jack, you are an incredibly successful young adult, and you've helped other young adults help their families' businesses thrive in digital marketing. How do you do that?
Well, first of all, thank you for the high praise, Dennis. I really appreciate it, and it means a lot coming from you. I'd say the biggest thing that, and we talk about it all the time, it's all about energy and your belief systems and having this growth mindset. That almost leaves a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth because they were shoving it down our throats in school, but it's true. Yeah. It really is. So many people have these self-limiting beliefs. Like my dad owns, right now we're working with my best friend actually, who is, both his parents are surgeons, and he's building out digital presence for them to get more patients, to be able to complete more knee surgeries, more hip surgeries, more cataract surgeries. His dad's an orthopedic surgeon, his mom's an ophthalmologist. And he's actually been able to drive results already in the short time that we've been working with him. And so many people think, okay, my dad has this fancy job, or maybe he doesn't. And how is little old me, like I'm just his son, I'm 18 years old or whatever it is, 20, I just turned 20. How am I gonna be able to help something my dad has been working for 30 years? Like, I mean, he taught me everything I know. He's been doing it for 30 years. How could I add any value? And I think it's a really good thing to be able to take on those self-limiting beliefs head on, and because there's so much potential. With what me and Dennis teach and what I've been able to learn from Dennis, really anyone can do what we do. It's not complex. It's derived straight from Google's playbook on how to dominate on SEO. And all what we've done is apply our own philosophies, our own systems, and our own teams to that process. It's not rocket science by any means. Literally anyone can do it, with or without our guidance, with or without our trainings. But we just add a little bit of context, and we add a very digestible criteria to be able to learn how to do these things. And that's the power of it. Me and Dennis were talking the other day. It's like we have this superhuman ability to be able to boost and leverage any modern business, any modern task or goal. And we're able to add digital presence, and we're able to amplify that in a way that even some of the best marketing agencies can't do. Yeah. They really can't, which is really cool that we're able to have this almost superhuman ability to be able to leverage people's assets and what people are already doing when they're doing great things. And it's transferable. That's the beauty in it. We can teach anyone how to do this. Anyone can do what my best friend's doing, what I've been doing the last year and a half. Anyone can do it.
You know what's crazy is we coach thousands of digital agencies and speak on all the big stages and whatnot. And someone like a Jack or someone else who's young is going to think, I don't know anything about digital marketing. How can I possibly do a better job? There must be a ton of competition in building websites and doing social media and running ads and all this influence stuff. Jack, what do you say to these young adults who think, can I actually do this? Like, I have no experience. Who am I? I'm just graduating high school.
Yeah, I'm going to dissect that question a little bit, because I think what you're really asking, Dennis, is how do they address those self-limiting beliefs that I was talking about earlier? And I think a big resource that you have is we have a community now of young adults who have been able to do it. These aren't the smartest kids. They don't have a master's degree. I never went to college. I didn't have absurdly great grades in high school. None of these things. I never even took a standardized test. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like all of the metrics that standard metrics that kids rank themselves on and that are amplified by schools and systems and the college administration and college application process, they don't apply here. They have no place here, because I truly believe anyone can do it. Anyone can.
And the tools are making it easier. And then you guys as young adults know more about social media and apps on the iPhone than even people like me. Yeah. And I'm like most of your parents that are business owners, and we just do the thing that we do. We fix roofs or air conditioners or do knee replacements. and we don't understand how all this social media, digital, whatever stuff works. We just started teaching a class on applied digital marketing for Johns Hopkins University.
Which is crazy because we're teaching these head of the administrations, whatever it is, biological, chemical engineering, and immunology. I can barely pronounce it.
Yeah.
At a school, they're overseeing those departments.
Yeah.
At a school that if I would have tried to apply there my senior year, I would have never gotten in. Never. They have like a 5% of people that apply get in. And what's so cool about that is now I'm actually teaching the people that are teaching, right?
How does that feel?
And teaching students.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And it's not like, whoa, Jack, you're really making it.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that anyone can do this when they follow the steps and take smart cuts. That's the big thing. It's those philosophies, combating those self-limiting beliefs, and following the processes that are set out by Google. It's not like me and Dennis have the secret sauce that we just invented out of thin air. It's not that at all. It's based in real results, real case studies that Google has done, and then we just put our own little twist on it and apply our philosophies and our systems onto it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. That's really all what it is.
Yeah, it's repeatable. One of the students in our class last week, this older couple, they have a $10 million a year appliance repair business. And they said this was the best ROI that they've ever gotten in business. And there were other business owners where they brought their younger son or daughter to come in and be able to apply this. And what we did was live auditing on the spot on all these folks that brought their local service businesses on the spot. We were able to immediately see how they were ranking in Google, what was wrong with their website, what content was missing. It's like having an X-ray. We're the only ones that have this X-ray, and you guys using the X-ray, which is like a set of tools and ChatGPT and all that, we can instantly see what's going on and instantly fix that. How does it feel where we're teaching people at Johns Hopkins University, some people that are senior administrators, like you said, and then what are they saying when we show how to do an audit and how to actually look at the data?
Yeah, and I think what's amazing about what me and Dennis are doing in that class specifically, and most meetings that we have, is that we're not just teaching, we're not just lecturing. Theory will only take you so far. So instead, what me and Dennis have implemented is that we actually work on their personal brand. We work on their web presence, their digital footprint live. We do it live, right in front of them.
Yeah.
There's no way to miss it. We're actually working on their business and their local traffic while we're teaching. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. It's so cool when there's a step-by-step process that we've done thousands of times. We already know kind of what to look for, and you guys will learn that same process, implement it, see the results, sometimes immediately, like the next day you'll start to see rankings or start to see things show up under their name or whatnot. So Jack, for a young adult who's watching this and their mom and dad run some kind of business, they do bathroom remodeling, or they're a landscaper, or they do some kind of local business, and they know their mom and dad need help with the marketing side. Mom and dad's good at like knee replacement or doing the thing, but they know that it's not showing up on social media. It's not showing up on Google. There's probably like some agency they're paying $3,000 a month to. What should that young adult be thinking about? How do they start? They want to help their parents. What should they do?
It really is so easy. It's so simple. It's not easy for everyone, but it is very simple. So if in a year and a half, I can go from not knowing anything about digital marketing to teaching founders and huge business owners, like they're doing $10 million a year.
Yeah.
I just added a client under my company that has 190 locations, and they're doing a ton of money in revenue each year. If in 1 year and a half, I can go from knowing nothing to teaching on it to these founders, think about how fast you could go from knowing nothing to being able to implement the tools for your parents or whoever's brand you want to work on.
And think, if Jack is able to do it for a guy who has 190 locations, you only have to do it for one location. How much easier is it? Every time we audit a single location, we find, like, for example, that you try to find the bio of the founder, like of your mom and dad or whoever owns the business, And it'll just be this crappy weak bio on the company's about page. Like, oh, so-and-so's a doctor, a cardiologist, whatever, went to med school, just like a few sentences instead of like a full profile. So for example, we built a tool that uses ChatGPT and other tools to grab all of these things about their experiences and what they've done and what they do in the neighborhood, and they coached a little league soccer team or whatever, and create a full bio. To be able to grab all the testimonials and all the experiences and awards and whatever that business has and push that all across social media. That satisfies search, social media, all this Google stuff, reputation, reviews, like it handles all of those things at the same time. Just think about how hard is it to actually be able to do that and then drive results for your parents' business?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the proof, right? I'm the proof, and all these young agency owners and all these people working on their parents' businesses, they're the proof. There's no speculation anymore. This system works, and now we're investing all the time and effort that we have into it and building it out, because Dennis's goal is to build out 1 million jobs by the time he retires and hangs up the K. And that's where you guys come in. That's where you guys come in to be able to follow our systems and create jobs and create agencies of your own. That's really the powerful thing here, is because in just a few months of starting my own agency and building these tools out and implementing them, I was making 5 figures a month in just a few months. That's more than the average 4-year college degree receiver will ever make.
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable. And I feel extremely blessed and thankful for Dennis, but it just goes to show that anyone can do this.
You know what drives me nuts, Jack, is I have a lot of friends that are your age, and they want to be entrepreneurs. They want to do influencer, digital marketing stuff. They don't want to go to college. They don't want to be an employee. And then they pay $10,000 for somebody selling a coaching program for young adults. I'm not going to name the names of these other people, but you've seen them on your Instagram and other places. And they all say, hey kids, do you know within like 30 days, you can be making $10,000 a month if you sign up for our coaching program, and we'll make you famous. We'll even, get you clients and close them for you and all that. And all you have to do is pay $10,000, or they don't even say the price. They get you on a call, and then they try to squeeze your credit card for everything that you can. And there's so many people I know that have paid for those programs, and most of them fail. And then they come and they see what we're doing, and we're publishing exactly how we do everything. You can download all of it. You don't have to pay us a dime.
Just Google it.
You can Google it. There's YouTube videos. There's thousands and thousands of articles and videos where we show exactly what to do step by step. If all these other guys are saying, hey, Jack, you're 20. Would you like to make $10,000 a month? Sign up for my special program where I have this secret thing, right? If there's so many guys that are selling that, then why are we putting all this stuff, which is even better, out there for free?
It's a great question. And it is easy to look at our motives and question it, right? All these other guys are making a buttload of money selling essentially nothing.
They're making millions of dollars per month. These guys boast about how much money they're making by selling young adults on high-ticket coaching, on how to start an agency, how to start a social media marketing company.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to question our motives in that. But if you know anything about me and you know anything about Dennis, our goal is to create jobs. Our goal is to inspire the next generation. And our goal is to help people. That has been it the entire time. That's why I joined the military. That's why I've done pretty much everything in my life has been on the same path, whether it's looked like a lot of different things, but now we're able to actually do it at scale. And that's what blesses us. That's why we do it.
Yeah. And the whole thing is reputation. There's nothing more valuable than your own reputation. Every time Jack does something good, or I do something good, and then those people tell their friends, and maybe we get interviewed on a podcast, or we speak at a conference, that builds more and more reputation. So everything we've ever had has been because we've shared our expertise, because we've done good things, and that brings more people back. It's like this like karma, yin yang kind of thing that comes back.
It's this huge feedback loop.
Like, look at what you're doing for your friends and other family members. So we can take the orthopedic surgeon, and he's already starting to rank on these keywords based on content that we produced and all that kind of stuff. he's telling his other friends.
Yeah.
And those friends come into his son. So now that agency's growing. That's deepening the relationship you have with your best friend. That's like, what could be better than pulling in all your unemployed friends or whatnot and being able to have a business
That's what I'm doing.
Working with your best friends versus like working for some guy or whoever.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Being some kind of drug mule at a company and trying to work your way up in your career. I think it's outdated.
Yeah.
Especially in the internet and AI age, it's an outdated thought process. And what's so remarkable, Dennis, to explore more what you were saying, is in just a few days, this orthopedic surgeon and this guy who owns 190 franchises with his business, we wrote articles about them. Just highlighting their successes, highlighting what they do, their missions, their goals, their objectives. And in 2 days, for both of those guys, they've been in the business for many, many years, decades. Those articles ranked on their name in the top 3 for both guys.
Even
in
though
2 days. They're our first article.
But both of them have been in business a long time. There should be a lot of stuff that's been generated just because they've been in business. Yet, why is our stuff starting to rank?
Well, it all comes back to decades of experience and decades of authority in what we've been able to do. We've been building up this Google cache of, we call it link juice, and we call it, it's essentially domain power and it's influence. Really what it is influence. And Google recognizes that. It trusts us. We're authentic. Everything we post is based on experience, authenticity, and trust. And Google recognized that, and it rewards that. And so things that when we're highlighting someone that's a great person in their trade, or they're a lighthouse or on their path to become a lighthouse, Google recognizes that and it rewards good behavior.
And the more of these successful entrepreneurs that we feature, the more Google sees that, the more traffic we drive, and then the more publishing creates this positive, virtuous cycle. So when you highlight what your dad is doing because he's an electrician, for example, to get more clients, fixing light bulbs or leaks or whatnot in the city that you're in, and building those relationships, showing those signals that Jack is talking about. When we publish that, for example, on our media properties, that passes link juice to his business, to his personal brand, to your personal brand, so that if you serve an electrician, then you'll be able to help other electricians, because Google can see like, oh, you're helping this electrician. Then other electricians that are looking for help on doing SEO or fixing their website, they will see your example. That's how it works. And Jack and I own some huge media properties. And all the media and TV and speaking that we've accumulated over the years is centralized in a few of these properties. So when we link out from these properties that already have accumulated all this link juice, we're basically endorsing or voting you. That's why we're giving this out. And that helps all the rest of us, because then as you get stronger, we want you to be able to teach other young adults to do the same thing and go down the same path that you've been down.
If me and Dennis tried to build a company that had 1 million people on payroll, we would never do it. Just for fun, we were Googling last night the biggest companies, how many employees they have. I think Walmart had like 2.3 million, and Amazon had 1.6. And other than world militaries or the Department of Defense, whatever it is, there's no other businesses that have 1 million employees. And so this is our way to strive for that 1 million jobs goal, is by amplifying young adults who are bright and talented and have aspirations for business of their own. And then they go out and they coach other young adults. And it's this huge, huge pyramid. No, it's not a...
There's no scheme.
There's no scheme. Don't worry about it. It is a family tree of these agency owners that all the power that we've accumulated can trickle down from the top, and then it's feedback loops to make our brand more powerful and your brand more powerful in turn.
Yeah. There's 3 million plus local service businesses in the United States that do over $1 million and fit inside these Google categories, which is what they're called LSA, local service categories. And if we say of those 3 million, we are training up 100,000 young adults to start their own little agency, right? And each of those 100,000 young adults hires 10 other people. They could be from Pakistan or the Philippines or whatever it is. That's 1 million, right? 10,000 micro agencies that are each doing anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 a month, which is a good amount of money, right? I mean, that's gross. Your profit's going to be like a third of that, depending on how you organize. But if each of those guys has 10 people, that's a million jobs. That's a whole economy unto itself. That's the kind of thing that makes me proud. And we're creating jobs all over the world. Like, it's crazy to think like they're like, there was some guy who reached out yesterday from like Estonia saying, yeah, I took your $1 a day training and whatnot. And I'm so grateful because I have a job making $500 a month, and we have, you know, our country's poor and all this kind of stuff. It's so cool.
And what's amazing too is we start our VAs at about $500 a month. And that sounds like nothing, right? In the States, you would be the FDA or whatever it is, not FDA, but SEC would be knocking at your door, whoever it is, IRS. But in Pakistan, I asked one of our VAs one time, what do people make in Pakistan? And he told me that the average salary there in Pakistan for an adult, and many of them are educated 4-year degrees, is $75 USD per month.
A month?
A month.
Yeah.
And so we're able to bless these people's families and they can actually create generational wealth. And many of our VAs make thousands of dollars a month. They're able to create generational wealth for their family and friends around them. And we're able to leverage their work to create value for businesses here in the States.
Yeah.
It really is a model where everyone wins. There's no parasitic value in anything that we do, which is why me and Dennis believe in it so much and why we give it away freely.
And these are good jobs. This is not like Uber driver, Amazon, you know, factory worker. If someone is able to make, you know, someone in the Philippines or Pakistan or Kosovo or whatnot, they're making $1,000 a month, which, you know, that's 3 levels up, you know, because you start out at like $500 a month. That's baller kind of money. Like, we have a lot of American friends that even moved to Thailand or different parts of South Asia. Yeah, and they live like a boss for $1,000. Well, maybe like $2,000 a month. You can live like a king. $1,000, you can live.
They live in like a palace.
You can have your own maid and have your own driver. You can literally have like 4. Well, yeah, you can have like 5 people working for you full time if you can afford $2,500 a month. So just imagine you've got a couple VAs on your team that are making, you know, one's making $500 a month, another one's making $1,000 a month. They're living well.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, let's say you've got 10 clients, and those 10 clients are each paying you $2,500 a month. You're grossing $25,000, which is not profit, but then the cost of your team might be like $6,000 or $7,000 because you have to pay for like 6 or 7 people to do all the work on behalf of all these clients. That's still a very healthy margin for you to be able to do well, because, you know, there's other things. You have to pay for marketing software. You might have to travel to go visit a client. You have to pay for like random sorts of things, right? Maybe you have to run some ads. You want to create a book in your name, all these other things to be able to operate a business. But that's a very nice business to get the 10 clients that are paying $2,500 a month. If you can get the first client should be your mom and dad. First client can be one that we give you, if you're qualified, in the training that we provide. Because we have more businesses coming to us than we can possibly handle. And we would love to refer it out, but only to people who we know can do good work, because that's our reputation when we make a recommendation.
Amazing.
What else do people need to know, Jack?
I think that the biggest lie that young adults are being told right now is what I was referencing earlier with the outdated thought processes. If just in a few months I was able to, and it's not all about money, but in a few months I'm able to give value to the businesses that have people behind them that I love, be able to employ people across the world that is benefiting their families. And personally, I'm making more money than the average 4-year degree would, or the medium 4-year degree would. I mean, there's obviously some flaw in the modern thought process that you have to get as good of grades in high school that you can, and then try and get into the best college that you can, work internships at the best firms that you can over the summer. And then hopefully with this job market, you have a job in your sector. If you picked the right degree 4 years ago, hopefully you get lucky and you can find a good job. There is too much uncertainty in that plan. And there is uncertainty here. Even though we have a very successful rate with the people that have built out agency, the young adults with myself, there's still uncertainty. But there's a lot less opportunity cost. There's no upfront cost. There's no $200,000 degree that you have to get to work in this role. It's simply your time. And when you're a young adult, your time is your greatest resource. I'll walk into rooms at these conferences and these guys they're worth 9 figures or even some billionaires. And they're jealous of me. Why? Because I have time. They would give up all their fortune to come back. If they're 67 years old, they would give up all their fortune to come back to my age, 20 years old, where I am. And that's something that we should, as the new generation, as young adults, we should understand that leverage and that value that we have and use more of our time rather than incurring so much opportunity cost to get this degree that we may or may not use and be in debt until we're 35. And I'm not saying if you're going to be a doctor or you're going to be an engineer or one of these things that requires a degree and then there's clear ROI and a clear marketplace for your job, your degree, that makes sense. But as far as like gender studies or degrees like that, I mean, if you have a great path after that it applies to, all the more power to you. But if not, and you're just kind of rolling the dice to see if you can fit somewhere into the job market, I don't think that's a very good plan. I think that colleges are meant to make money. They are businesses. Most people think that we call it 4-year degrees. A bachelor's degree is a 4-year degree, right? The average bachelor's degree takes someone 4.7 years. So that means that roughly half of bachelor degree recipients take 5 or more years to complete their BA. That is a lie. And college is made to keep you at college as long as they can, because for each semester that you have, it's more money in their pockets. And I'm not saying colleges are evil. We're teaching at Johns Hopkins University right now. They do great things. They empower generations, and education is a good thing. But for certain people, there's a small amount of people, and maybe it's bigger. I think that this is a way better option for you.
So if you're a young adult, you want to be an entrepreneur, you're not sure exactly what you should do. You see these influencers talking about e-com and drop shipping and being a YouTuber or whatever. Take a look at what Jack and other young adults are doing, serving local service businesses. It's not a lot of competition. It's easy to drive the ROI. There's a proven process. Let's say your dad is a tree service company, cuts down trees, and you do a good job following the stuff we publish for free. You don't even need to talk to us. Just follow what we're teaching. You could then do this for 10 other companies that are just like that. And the biggest problem I see with young adults is they say, well, I don't know what kind of business, so I'll try like these 15 other random, I'll be a copywriter, I'll sell AI tools. If you can get that first client, you can get 10 more of those kinds of clients. But that first client needs to be one that you can reliably deliver repeatable results. That first client has to trust you. Who's going to want to trust you if you've never done it before? Your mom or dad, or by partnering with one of the young adults that already has established a niche serving dentists, serving roofers. Like tomorrow morning, well, no, tonight, I'm flying out to a big roofing company. Why? They reached out to us because there's a lot of other roofers that we've helped, right? So we can do this, and then that's, of course, passed to another young adult who's just in charge of roofers. And so we would invite you to be part of this network and see. The last thing I'll say to you is, if you're a young adult and you're looking to make your first dollar and start some kind of business, and you're thinking, maybe I'll start by showing my mom and dad as a great example because they're willing to give me a shot. Go through the training to see how to do a quick audit. Look at how the 4-stage content factory works. Look at how, by following that 4-stage content factory, you're able to repurpose videos, create articles, blog posts, YouTube, Snapchats, all that kind of stuff that helps them rank. You'll see that if those things are in place and you're able to get reviews for that business, then things like local service ads and regular Google ads and other bits start to amplify upon that. But if you build that initial reputation, which is what Jack is talking about with high-rise influence, this blueprint foundation, I know this sounds sort of like abstract and esoteric, but you'll see there's a structure for how to do this. Then you can do this repeatedly. You do it yourself first, of course, but then you do it repeatedly because you have, repeatedly with other virtual assistants, with other AI bots that work for you, which we're giving you the code on how to do that, so you can load up your own OpenAI custom GPT and that kind of thing. And now you've got a business that is repeatedly doing this. And then you become a great example of thousands of others that have followed the same process. So I encourage you, go look up Jack Wendt. Go look up High Rise Influence. Go look up me. Go look up the other folks that we work with and see what you think. See, is this something that might work for you?
Yeah, and an extension of that, some of the brands that I worked on, Caleb Williams, Dennis's brand, Chris Crone, Nautical Bows, any of those are results driven. You can just Google those, and you'll see brand authority, you'll see power, you'll see influence. And that's what we do.
It's so cool to be able to do stuff and then be able to Google it. The client can Google it, you can Google it, and like, yep, I can see. It's not just because I said it was a good thing. It's not like a painting where, oh, is it pretty or not? It's so cool to be able to see we can actually start ranking on these keywords that matter. Knee replacement, Northfield, Minnesota. Not there before, now in position 15 or whatever position it's in. That's a good thing because we can see how many phone calls does it drive by ranking in the map results, by all the stuff that happens from building a better website, and they don't have a Facebook profile, for example. All of these things are easy things to do. Come check it out, and we'd love to hear. What do you guys think? And thank you, Jack, for being on the Coach U show.
Thank you, Dennis.